Good morning. Inside my modest study, I was surrounded by the quiet solitude I had grown accustomed to. The only sound was the faint rustle of paper as I worked, deep in thought. In the midst of my work, an old acquaintance, a man of considerable status in our city, came to visit. He was well-dressed and had the outward appearance of someone who had everything one could desire: respect, a steady income, and a well-regarded position in the community. Yet, I could sense something unsettling in his demeanor. His face, though polite, bore the weight of an unspoken discontent. He sat down before me, his hands clasped tightly, as though trying to hold back some inner turmoil. "Kant," he began, "lately I've been feeling as though I'm wasting my life. The work I do is burdensome, and though I am well compensated, I feel no joy, no fulfillment. I follow the routine day after day, not out of passion, but out of obligation. I can't shake the feeling that this life is not mine." I listened, intrigued. I had known this man for years, and though he had always seemed successful, there was something profoundly lacking in his voice now. "You say you feel as though you're wasting your life," I replied. "But let me ask you this. If you weren't paid for your work, if there was no material gain to be had, would you still do it?" He paused, staring into space for a long moment. I could see the conflict playing out in his mind. The thought of continuing in his current position for no reward was, no doubt, an unbearable one. "No," he said finally. "I wouldn't. It's only the money that keeps me going." His answer struck me as an undeniable truth. He was caught in a career that had become a mere means to an end, one in which he found no real satisfaction, no deeper sense of purpose. This wasn't just a failure of career choice. It was a failure of life's direction itself. I leaned back in my chair, considering his words. "Tell me," I asked, "when you were younger, did you ever dream of doing something else? Something that would stir your heart? That would make you feel alive?" He shook his head. "No, Kant, I never thought about it that way. I was always taught that duty and responsibility came first. You work to survive, and the rest is irrelevant." I felt a pang of sadness for him, for the many others like him, who lived not to fulfill their potential, but merely to fulfill societal expectations. He had spent his life fulfilling duties, not passions. But the deeper tragedy was that he had never once questioned whether his work, his very life, was aligned with his true self. This is the fate of many in our world. We live not for what we love, but for what we must, believing that our worth is defined by external measures: money, status, and societal approval. We're told that success is measured by these, and so we chase them, day after day, not realizing that by doing so, we forfeit our personal fulfillment. I could see it clearly now. The true question was not, what work can you do to earn a living? But what would you do even if no one paid you for it? What would you dedicate yourself to, simply because it brings you joy and purpose? It's not an easy question to answer. Most people, like my friend, find it hard to imagine doing anything other than what they've always done. But that's exactly why it's worth asking. I said to him, "You must ask yourself, what would you do if you didn't need money? What is your true calling? The work that would feed your soul rather than your stomach? And are you brave enough to pursue it, even if it means letting go of the comfortable, well-paying job that traps you?" The moment of truth arrived, and I could see the realization dawn in his eyes. He had never considered that his life could be different, that he could pursue work that was aligned with his true self, rather than simply following a path dictated by necessity. The answer was clear to him, but the road to change would not be easy. It would require courage. The kind of courage that comes from knowing yourself and being willing to risk comfort for something more meaningful.